I see that right now something big in your life, or has always, I don't know if it's always been big in your life, or you've been into it, not by like force, because I'm talking about religion and like God, because a lot of people, they're kind of just forced to go to church. They're
Yeah.
forced to do whatever their family is doing. Like I grew up going to New Hope. I don't
Yeah.
really go to church much these days. The last time I went to church was at Inspire.
Yeah.
Pastor Mike invited me, and then I met you guys and saw you singing. So I know you're really involved in the church
Yeah.
now. Was that always a thing since you were little, or was there ever a break, or did you ever
Oh,
like do your own thing that
um,
got over it?
yeah, church
Yeah.
was a part of my life growing up. Um, when you go when you go a little deeper, I always knew who God was, but I never did have a relationship with God or have a relationship with Jesus. I was a knucklehead kid growing up, um, in and out of jail,
Hmm.
um, running beers from the store,
The green bottles.
stealing Starburst from the store. Just one of those knucklehead kids
Hmm.
that grew up with no direction.
Hmm.
It wasn't until I met my wife, who we were best friends, at first, that I really she changed the trajectory of my life, and I know God put her in my life for that reason.
Hmm.
I started going to Inspire back in 2017 or 2018, June of 2018. It was my first time ever walking into a church like that, and I was kind of
Hmm.
tripping. I grew up in a very small Samoan church where
Hmm.
you're not allowed to laugh. You're not allowed to, I'm sure when you sat in our church, you hear a lot of talk back
Yeah,
culture,
yeah.
like,
Oh, so
so
funny.
good. Come on, preach
Yeah.
that, Pastor
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, say that again.
Yeah.
But that's like unheard of in the Samoan church, or
Wow.
at least in the church that I grew
Mhm.
up in. Um, so again, like I just never really knew God until I went to Inspire, and like I've been blessed to be raised under amazing high caliber leadership in Pastor Mike and
Mhm.
Lisa. And I'm not just saying that to kiss butt. They already let me marry the daughter.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I
So
mean?
you good
So
now, yeah.
so I'm good now. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying that from a place of truth. Like I wouldn't be the man I am today if it wasn't for Pastor Mike and Pastor Lisa and
Oh.
just Inspire Church as a whole. It's crazy. When I first started walking in, I used to be one of those guys like, oh, the church gonna burn down if I walk in. You know what I mean? Like, oh, hell's gonna break loose if I come into that church. And I was very reluctant when I first started coming. Like I was judgmental, and I was thinking that people was judging me.
Mhm.
In my mind, I was like, oh no, man, if they find out what I've done, if they find out who I am right now, they're not gonna want me in this church. But then as you start to continue to go and you get plugged in, you find community, like you realize like you're not the only one who's done those things.
Mhm.
And then you find people who have overcome those adversities. And me growing closer with them has like brought me out of a hole that I was in for a very long time. It's
Mhm.
just that sense of community, bro, is what I've always needed. It's not what I've always wanted, because with that community comes accountability.
Mhm. Mhm.
People that's gonna be your real friends, that's gonna
Mhm.
call you out on your stuff,
Mhm.
and just tell you when you're behaving in the wrong way, tell you when you're acting sideways. And that's the kind of friends I have now. And if I didn't have them, I would probably still be in the streets doing stupid stuff.